Thank you very much. You don't need me here now? Right. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So home team.
All three. Yes.
I'm practicing this today. And I can see what the most important is.
Head to tail.
Heads.
Really?
Great, it's heads.
So, no. And the academy, for or against? For. So the academy will be debating for and VIC against. Excellent. First of all, many thanks indeed to, where are you? It's gone. Anyway, okay, you are, Sam. Thank you very much for the early hospitality and the welcome, the excellent layout of the room. Thank you very much. I think we all will say get better soon to Gemma Austin, and thank you for taking place in her place. And huge thanks to all of the 10 schools that are taking part again in this 8th season of the competition. Quite something, we think. Agora, BIC, Belver, French Lycée, Green Valley, the Academy, of course, Montessori, Mallorca International, San Cayetano and Queens. So that is the competitions, a little bit repeat of last year. So it's wonderful to have you all back. I must give our thanks to our sponsors with whom it would not be possible, as you can see from the banners there. Palma Pictures, Imperial Properties, Clínica Bueneda, Ticket Travel and Ibex Insurance. So it's thanks to them. And also to our stalwart group of volunteers. My goodness, they do a wonderful job, all 13 of them, and 3 new child duckies here. Welcome. The Rotary gang, I must introduce, that's the best word for them. They put up with me in all the organisation, which is Viv here as acting as secretary, Harry as well as doing the orders and the photographs, does the financial bit for us as well. Ron does all the running around and helps, including banners and everything else. And John at the end back there, ex-president, thank you very much for being with us, sir. Just a little housekeeping. I hope the phones are in silence or in off mode. And as you know the rules, no shouting or moving about. So today is the start of our new season in the art of the debate. Today, as you know, we have the IC team led by Sam and Cadman. Got the names up there, thank you very much. I don't know whose idea this was, but it's excellent. Great idea. I think everybody else is going to copy that. We've got Bennett Kramer, Sarah Metcalf and Elena Cook, I think that's what you say. And the Academy team, Melanie, thank you very much for coming. We have Antonio Mateus Marcos, Andreas Anivera Storey and Vicente Schiele. Your timekeeper today is David Tittle. Your judges are John Lambert, Hannah Christensen, and spokesman, an old face, a regular face, Paul Aubrey. Thank you very much. Also joining us, I mentioned earlier, are Carlos, Steve and Gail, who will be future judges in the next few weeks. Thank you also to Alberto Guterres for coming, a new school, new experience, and from Agora, who will obviously be taking part in the competition later. Our motion today is: woke culture is an existential threat to the art of debate. Woke culture is an existential threat to the fine art of debate. Voting for the motion is the Academy. Debating for the motion is the Academy. Debating against the motion, VIC. Please remember your time, everybody. So from the timekeeper there, the first bell means you start. After 1 minute, the next bell means that points of information can be asked. At the 4th minute, another bell means no more points of information. And you finish, as you all know, at the 5th bell when you're finished. Okay? I think you all know that. Just a little reminder. Okay? So, let the debate start, and I hand you over to David as timekeeper. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If everybody is ready, then may I ask for the first speaker on behalf of the Academy.
evolving landscape of modern discourse, the emergence of woke culture initially appeared like a brilliant, radiant candle, casting new light on the dark corners of debate and illuminating perspectives that were previously obscure. At first glance, it promised to bring in a more enlightened social era of justice and inclusive dialogue. However, much like a candle that has burned for too long, this movement, its initial brilliance, is giving way to a cloud of smoke, obscuring the very ideals that this movement sought to achieve. Behind the facade of noble intentions, there lies a fundamental lack of clarity and definition. The term woke has grown so fluid that its original altruistic principle has become distorted, now being used as a weapon and goatscape whenever you try to dismiss somebody else's opinion. So, the smoke has become intoxicated, stopping our ability to engage in thoughtful and open debate. Good morning, judges, teachers, guests, and members of the opposing team. My name is Antonia, and today, with the following arguments from my team, we will convince you that wokeism is polarizing opinions, manipulating young people, stifling free speech, and that wokeism is unequivocally an existential threat to the fine art of debate. The way of making change is to be as judgmental as possible about other people's opinions, and that's enough. This is what President Barack Obama, said during the Obama Summit speech in 2019. The woke movement has created a division in our society. It has concocted a polarized environment that makes it impossible for arguments in debate that do not conform to the woke narrative to be heard, let alone accepted. It promotes an us versus them mentality that encourages people to villainize, attack, and judge those with an opposing view. Topics are oversimplified and reduced to a spectrum of black and white. You're either my ally or my enemy. There is no in-between, hence limiting the nuance in debate. When someone's opinion does not conform with the prevalent woke narrative, they're either dismissed or suppressed. In 2017, several governmental debates through the states, including North Carolina, Texas, Alabama, and Virginia, surrounding the removal of historical monuments, was held. In Charlottesville, Virginia, the debates included public discussions between residents and government officials. Lamentably, those who sought the immediate removal of historical statues and did not want to consider the opposing view took to the streets and vandalized and even burned monuments, one of them being the headquarters of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. A similar outburst erupted in September 2022 when profanities were scrawled on the Washington Monument. The New York Times reported that the vandalism of over 200 monuments occurred that could have easily been avoided through civilized discussion. Furthermore, when you are set on negating an opposing view because you believe it's not woke enough, misinterpretations are formed. In the American immigration policies debate, misinterpretations delayed the approval of life-changing policies. Supporters of immigration dismissed opposing arguments by biasly, innately prejudicing other members of the opposing team and classing them as racist and xenophobic, which in some cases might have been true, but this was a general statement that did not apply to everyone, thus impeding the resolution of pressing issues that led to the destruction of millions of lives. People's interpretation of wokeism and polarized opinions have gone too far. It goes completely against the fundamental values of debate. Those of us who are passionate about debate do not seek to judge others, criticize them, and certainly do not want to ignore them purely because their opinions do not align with ours. And we certainly should not resort to violence. Instead, we seek to confront our viewpoints and confront our own personal ideologies. Thank you.
First speaker on behalf of the OC.
Wokeism or being woke is an adjective derived from African American vernacular English meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. It simply means being aware of social injustices and inequalities. Nowadays, wokeism has been blown out of proportion and has many incorrect connotations of someone who is radically left-wing, vegan, or probably non-binary as well. These incorrect connotations were clearly expressed this time last year when Home Secretary of the UK, Suella Braverman, called Just Stop Oil protesters Guardian reading tofu-eating Bukareli. Wokeism is mainly the more right-wing people, as a negative thing, something to stay away from and aspire not to be. Whatever it is that the right wing finds so awful about wokeism has created a huge amount of polarization of opinions in the media, in conversations, and in our day-to-day lives. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges and members of the opposing team. Our motion today is wokeism is an existential threat to the fine art of debate. My team and I will argue against this as we believe wokeism is not an existential threat. I will be speaking about how wokeism can refine arguments and enhance our debate. One article, for example, Israel bombing rocks Gaza through the night, Hamas terrorist attack against Israel. One article has almost 10 separate new headlines criticizing Israel and showing images of those suffering in the Gaza Strip, while the others show horrifying images of bombing in Israel. What if there were certain rules imposed in order to reduce polarization, picking sides and offensive words? Call them wokeism rules if you like. Imagine how many different opinions could be expressed on one particular issues if these wokeism rules were imposed. There would be no immediately taking sides, and therefore people would have a more well-rounded knowledge. Now thinking about what would happen if we brought these words into the wonderful world of debating. Wokeism in debating encourages critical thinking, which is a key element of debating and an essential skill for debaters like us. When preparing for this debate, these wokeism words encourage me to fully consider all points in my argument, as well as contesting points of the opposing teams may have. This allowed me to create a more convincing and stronger speech, as my points were articulated fully because I considered all sides to the argument, due to the wokeism rules. Wokeism, or in other words, social awareness, is not limiting, it's enhancing. It does not limit what I, we, or you can say. It encourages us to think deeply and critically about what we say. In a debate, wokeism pushes argumentative points to be stronger and therefore more believing to those making a verdict, the esteemed judges in this case. It encourages debaters to truly... Yes, please.
You're saying that wokeism is helping stop polarization, but when most of the people who consider themselves woke usually leap to conclusions and do not want to understand the topic, and therefore impede this resolution of polarization, and they're creating it.
I don't think that's true, because people don't want to understand. It's just people don't want to be threatened by anybody. So that's why it's good to have woke, and that's why they don't create that. I'm going to continue, please. The main points, the ability to discuss, and the presentations of what I and my team believe are essential components to a good debate. So how can wokeism be an existential threat to the debate if it enhances all these components? I leave you with this quote by Frank Zollenberg. You don't win a debate by surprising our discussions, you win it with a better argument. Thank you.
Every first things that come to our mind is fights, protests, and extreme actions. And why? A debate is not aiming to offend anyone. A debate is not any type of attack towards anyone who thinks differently. A debate will always be held with real evidence, and the debate will attempt to open people's minds to other points of views. Motivated speakers can hold speeches that can really impact our world and make us progress as a society. Think about how many times you've listened to a speech and you've started questioning your proper values and if you were focusing your opinions in a biased manner. Many, right? And this is completely normal. This is exactly why persuasive language is included in debates and why they are held in the first place. Now, if this can be accomplished by something as simple as words, how can protests, fights, and extreme actions pop up into our minds every time we talk about woke culture? How come woke culture is seeking for respect by the means of disrespectful actions? And how come that the vast majority of people who do so are teenagers? Woke culture hides a manipulation towards young people, trying to make them think that they are victims of any problem that arises instead of part of what can make a difference. Young people have learned that their way to express themselves when they don't agree with someone is to protest. A clear example of this is when Kathleen Stock, a British professor, philosopher, and writer, held a speech in Oxford University, which was interrupted by a 19-year-old trans activist, Riz Posnet, who glued herself to the floor in the middle of her speech. This protestant was afterwards treated like a legend by her community. This is not only a shocking lack of respect to the professor, but also a sign that woke culture is an existential threat to the art of debate. Kathleen Stock was not even holding...
Point of information.
Yeah.
You said that wokeism persuades teenagers. Can you explain that, please?
This means that I will answer this more into my speech. Kathleen Stock was not even holding an anti-trans speech, but was only talking about females' rights to be protected against any potential threat to an interruption of their intimacy. It is completely right that people didn't agree with what she was saying. No debate could ever take place if everyone agreed with each other. But it is not right that people no longer become invested in defending their points of views with arguments and with evidence. It is not right that debaters like Kathleen Stock can no longer even finish what they were trying to say. And it is not right that people praise these actions. According to the European Youth Portal, in 2022, 96% of young people in the European Union make daily use of the internet. This data is increasing exponentially and will continue to do so in the following years. Which means that literally all teenagers have access to all the fake news and biased opinions that are posted daily into the media.
Points of information.
Yeah.
You said that 96% of teenagers use their phone daily. And you said they have access to fake media, to the fake news. But what if they don't go on websites that have fake news? What if they just write with their friends? What if they do other work?
It is true, but it is the truth that all over the media, there's always people explaining what they think. And it's normally from sources that are not reliable. The internet is normally not reliable as information is taught with no real evidence about it. We all know that being young often makes you propense of becoming vulnerable to being manipulated and to feel peer pressure to fit in and follow other people's trends. It has come to a point where teenagers have internalized in such a way that they need to protest for their rights and for what wokeism considers as moral. Because that is what appears all the time in the media, a non-reliable source of information, that they do so without even knowing much about what they are protesting about. This has led to a ripple effect in which they have all become united against a common enemy, which is everyone that is outside their community.
How are they going to use arguments in a debate about their rights when they aren't even sure about what they are talking about?
Picture this, people debating, voices raised, words flying back and forth without any real meaning, tears and anguish being felt on both sides, emotions heightened, and in the end, both parties end up hating each other. During this debate, people say offensive comments without prior thought or reason, just of the spontaneous conflict the topic is molded, and the satisfaction of winning. How can anyone consider this a debate? It is nothing more than a shouting match, making this win undeserved, as the debate has spiraled out of control, consequently jeopardizing the fine art of debate. A key reason as to why we should promote and maintain wokeism is that everyone is encouraged to listen to one another and really make a sophisticated, considerate and cordial debating environment. This is also beneficial to the fundamental ways in which a debate functions, highlighting the fact that you should be respectful and listen to both sides, therefore adding further weight to your point by making it look more formal and respectful. This is clearly better than making such an offensive point that consequently takes focus off the rest of your argument. Being rogue really gives the opportunity to be listened to by a wider audience consisting of a variety of communities, and therefore being able to share your opinion without the fear of people taking offense to what you say. Our debate today is conducted with respect. Hands are raised for points of information, points are made strongly or politely to, and people are judged on their speech and not their identity. I hope you have all felt safe, welcomed, and respected as you came to our school and into this debate today. That is what it should feel like, and the added awareness of all nationalities, genders, and religions created by wokeism has helped to form this comfortable space where all points are respected, which therefore has enhanced this very debate technically and has also promoted educational conversation. Another key point is that woke culture helps us discuss a topic, sometimes sensitive ones, without the fear of people taking offense and feeling attacked. This then promotes further focus on the topic at hand, instead of having to worry about how what you could say could potentially have an impact on others. Furthermore, we can then respond and discuss without people's emotions getting in the way, making points seem more objective rather than subjective due to the fact that people's emotions aren't brought into debate. Now, I'm not trying to say that emotions within debate are bad. In fact, many areas, emotions are what guide us to make the best arguments possible. However, the problem you can face when bringing emotion into debate is what should be an objective debate turns into one far more personal. Inflammatory statements being made to drive an emotional reaction to win through shock factor. I think we can all agree here this will never be conducive to a proper debate.
Eli? You're saying that being woke not being woke means that you're being disrespectful towards other people. But this is generally not true. Us on the proposition side of the motion are not being disrespectful towards you while we do not promote the woke ideology. And then when you're saying woke people are being more respectful, a lot of woke people have been known to attack other people through cancel culture and physically and through protests.
Okay. Well, woke is all about creating that awareness, so you're not unintentionally offending people as well. So, yeah. Continue. Thank you. Where was I? Wokeism within debate helps to protect against this, making sure all arguments aren't made with the purpose of offending or heightening emotions. It allows people to partake without having to worry about facing aggression, and fosters a more inviting environment. Last year, the motion for the finals debate that my school took part in was, gender cannot be defined biologically. This motion wouldn't have been able to have been discussed in such depth if it wasn't for wokeism. All debaters partaking understood the delicate nature of the topic and respected that. making sure to be mindful of others, feeling so that everyone partaking felt respected. Wokeism aided the discussion by ensuring that inflammatory statements were avoided and a more objective discussion could be had. Debating cannot be hindered by wokeism as it helps to encourage actual debates rather than arguments. One could see wokeism as a hindrance to the fine art of debate, arguing that it holds people back from saying what they actually mean through fear. I would argue that wokeism does the exact opposite. Wokeism provides a space of respect within debate that everyone adheres to. Without it, we can see what happens to the art of debate. It deteriorates. The UK Parliament being a perfect example. MPs' parliamentary privilege, meaning most debates descend into name-calling and personal arguments. Is that it?
This is what is happening to our free speech. Because of woke, our free speech is in significant danger. Our opinions and our decisions are almost gone. How are we supposed to debate openly if we're in this constant fear of being backslashed? How are we supposed to think on our own if we're immediately told what is right and what is wrong? Woke culture often merges with this grand topic of cancel culture, the mass withdrawal of support from public figures after they've done something that's socially unacceptable. Maybe that has the right idea, but in the way it's done is disastrous and harmful. Hurtful comments or comments that you don't agree with, of course, you're supposed to call them out. You're supposed to tell the person, that's how I feel, that's how you feel. Please respect us. But cancel culture promotes this in a shaming and boycotting way. I'll quote J.K. Rowling on the 6th of June 2020. She tweeted, "People who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. Someone help me out. Woman, wimput, woman." Of course, if you do not agree with this statement, you can tell her, okay, I don't like this is aggression toward the trans community. But most of these comments were significantly hurtful, such as fantastic beasts suck, attacking her works, or saying I hate you, or saying you should be called irrelevant. How would you feel if you were attacked in this way after saying something and unintentionally maybe discriminating someone? If our democracy thrives on free speech and being able to voice our opinion without being in
Point of
fear...
information.
Yes.
So you're saying that your free speech is in danger because of woke,
Yeah.
but that debate can still be held with your own opinions. It's just not like you cannot just like offend anybody. So you have to have like clear arguments and points. So
Yeah,
how is your free speech in danger?
I'm coming to this now. So, you know that fine art of debate thrives on the controversial ideas that are being said. The motions, they always have two sides of an argument. But if nobody dares... No, thank you. If, for example, these controversial ideas are not being said anymore, are not being tweeted, for example, anymore, then there will not be any room in which we can debate. So, like, concerning your point of information, if we don't have this freedom of speech, and if we're not able to have these controversial ideas that we're debating today, for example, then the fine art debate can simply not survive. Microaggression. The global language monitor word of the year 2015 is a vital part of the woke culture. It's defined as subtle actions or comments that express discrimination toward a group. Not only can this lead to unwanted misunderstandings, it can lead to shaming and embarrassment. For example, in the elections of 2008, John McCain defended Barack Obama after he was called an Arab, not an American, by one of McCain's supporters. It might seem as an honorable action, he had no need to defend him, but in the end it was picked up as a major microaggression. Why? Because first of all, John McCain said that A, Barack Obama is not an Arab, and B, that he's a decent family man and citizen. How that was immediately picked up because it was said that McCain offered a microaggression toward the Muslim community because saying that he's not a Muslim, not an Arab, and that he's a decent family man implements that he Muslim
Point of information.
neglect their families. Yes.
Free speech can lead to threats and aggression. towards certain communities.
So you're saying that we should ban free speech?
About people that are becoming too easily upset about issues like racism, gender equality, and LGBTQ rights. People who are pro-wokeism are also criticized for talking about problems in a way that does not change anything. Woke is the past tense of wake, and to me, to be woke is to have woken up to the social injustices that real people face every day. To be woke is to be knowledgeable about the debates and issues people face, and so it is, in fact, a benefit to the fine art of debating. There is nothing in debate that says we should offend people. It is possible to be woke, but that is aware of social and political inequalities, and to debate key issues. It could be argued that is the only way by being aware that we can debate or argue with another person. In other words, wokeism is an enhancing tool to debate and is not an existential threat. Last year, I partook in a debate on the equality of men and women. While my team was arguing that all people, regardless of their gender, are equal, the other team took it to an extreme, and I was presented with an argument filled with misogyny and stereotypical views of women. They suggest women were weak and needed protection, and that men would be in charge of what the world has to offer towards women. This is what they believe to be a legitimate debating tactic. As a woman, this left me feeling that the world has turned against me, and I wasn't respected for who I was. As a participant in the debate, equal to any other participant, I should not come away from a discussion feeling as though my points were heard and not valid. This quite clearly goes against Article 19 of the UN Declaration of Human Rights, which states that everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression, a fundamental human right. Wokeism can protect these human rights, ensure that all points are heard in a debate, and make sure that no one comes away from a debate feeling like I did last year. Having social awareness of people's feelings, beliefs, and thoughts is simply respectful. If someone was to make a statement based solely of their own judgment and not taking into consideration how others may react to their comment, I'm sure that people would regard this as thoughtless and inconsiderate. It is a common courtesy to think that of others around us, and it's something we are taught from the very first years in school. This same respect for others should be applied to the fine art of debate. Not only, as Ben has mentioned, does it enhance the debate and create stronger arguments, it also creates a sense of welcoming to the participants in the debate, as well as the audience. This encourages educational conversation on controversial topics that otherwise may have not been discussed, such as assisted suicide, drug laws, and artificial intelligence. The fact that people feel welcomed into these discussions is so important and is another step towards completely open conversation, full awareness, and therefore enhancing the debate surrounding these topics. This increased awareness is simply wokeness. Woke culture is about respect. Respecting people regardless of their gender, sexuality, race, or background. Debating is about respect. Respecting points of view, respecting the motion, and respecting the people in the debate, both participants and the audience. This is wokeism. Wokeism is not a rule that could damage debate and is certainly not an existential threat. It's a factor of our everyday lives that is already brought into our conversations. We now just need to ensure that the same respect is brought into the fine art of debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, everybody. You now have 2 minutes to sum up your thoughts, your presentations, after which BRC will be called first to present the answers. speakers of the BIC would like to come forward, please, to sum up the voting up.
Yep. So, Speaker 1, you said that wokeism is manipulating young people. Do you mind elaborating and explaining what you mean by that?
I was at the one talking about manipulation of young people in Speaker 2.
Well, you wrote it down when you were speaking, so.
Okay, so the way that they're manipulating young
Excuse
people.
me, this is the summing up. 2 minutes summing up.
Oh, so I don't question.
No,
I just
no questions, so this is summing up. And debate back. No,
Sorry.
start again,
Yeah.
start again.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaker 2 says that it is all revolving around protests, whereas it's actually just awareness about what you say and how not to make people feel attacked. There's no evidence for that 96% that was apparent in her speech. She didn't give a source or anything, that teenagers read fake news. And she didn't answer the question that Bennett asked. Free speech can be good, but it can spiral out of control and cause aggression for Speaker 3. Free speech can also take away from a debate, as it can become unintentionally offensive or intentionally offensive, therefore taking focus off the rest of your argument. Yep.
My group and I have effectively showed that woke culture is an existential threat to the art of debate and to the society in general. And we are not the only ones who think so. The world of statistics even says that the greatest threat facing humanity is woke culture, even over climate change and wars. According to what you said, that I didn't use a source, I said that 96% of youth use the internet daily, according to the European Youth. Also, one of the speakers said that woke culture promotes critical thinking. And is critical thinking valuable if it is only about other views and not being critical about ourselves, not being able to self-reflect if what we're thinking, even if we're sure about that we are correct, could be wrong. You're also talking that woke culture promotes respect. And if that is true, why is cancel culture and fear of a backlash associated with woke culture? Why are many of people not talking about what they really think because they are so scared that they will lose their jobs or that they will be cancelled from other people? He also said that a fundamental right for humans is freedom. But is banning others when they think something that woke doesn't consider as moral, is banning that, is that really giving freedom to all people? Also, you said that free speech, that woke culture is looking for free speech, but the moment in which there is banning in between and how you can express yourself, that forgets and completely breaks what the fundamentals of free speech is.
Thank you very much. Judges, shall we go and have a think about all of that?
At its origins, which is the African American community in the United States, they had the intentions of promoting social awareness, being woke, like knowing your surroundings so that you could not only conform to the society that you're living in, but knowing what your rights are and how to combat people who are restricting you. But now, since woke has been a word that people are tossing around everywhere, people don't really know what it means to be woke. They just think that it's what's socially acceptable. You have to conform to what is socially acceptable, or else you get cancelled.
So there's a link into it.
Mm.
And one other question, and that's for both teams. Did you get the side of the argument that you would have preferred to argue for, or would you have preferred to argue for the other side? Because you had to prepare both. You didn't know which one you were going to do today.
So yeah, we were like actually okay with both, but because it was easy, so for us it was easier to take the like for it, and we had the against, but we could also cope with that, so that was okay too.
You guys?
We're happy to have.
You're happy to have the side you got. But you won the toss, as far as you're concerned. You won the coin toss.
Yeah, but we do think that there are two sides to everything. So we also think that there's part of what is right in woke culture not being against sexual harassment.
Okay.
Well, it is just the first debate, but as you'll realise, all of you, thank you for keeping the debate going, which I presume you've done with those present. We're a few minutes late because there was considerable debate between our three judges as to who was winning and who was not. Having said that, I would ask the spokesperson for the jury, Paul, to come up please and make the comments and present the prize.
Thanks very much. Well done, you lot. Exceptionally good. Do I need to wait for that? That was like either the best introduction or the worst introduction ever known to man. Right then, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand here and I'm going to hold the papers up and I'm going to read. No. Okay? What we felt was that your words on the paper were brilliant. You're probably the nerves, right? All of you, probably the nerves. There was a little bit of reading, or even what I'd call cheap reading, which is, I'm going to put it over here. We're going to keep looking like this, okay? Cheap reading. Don't fall into reading, okay? Show us your passion. Some of your examples were outstanding. But they lost a bit when all I could see was the top of your head and you were reading it to me. Some of your examples, unbelievable. Some of your interactions were tremendous. Zach, I'm going to point you out. What I really loved about you, the point of interest, what did Zach do, everybody? Turn around, talk to you, yes? When he felt he'd answered, he checked in. Now continue. Brilliant. Lovely handling of point of interest, lovely engagement. Also, use those words that have the hairs on the back of our neck coming up. Yes? What did they talk about? They talked about some personal examples. Yes? Involve the audience, bring the audience in. What did Zach talk about when he was talking about one of the things? Does anybody remember? I shall read. No, I shan't read. Yeah? Zach brought us into things. He brought us into the argument. One of the things that Andrea did so well was... Done that before. Right. What Andrea did was a theme. Yes? She had in her speech a particular word. She kept using that word to bring us in. Okay? So, one of the things the guys also did is, how would that make you feel? Do you remember? Who did the J.K. Rowling example? Vincent, didn't you, Vincent? Yes? How would that make you feel? Yes? We're sitting there as the audience, we're hearing them present, and then we're hearing that. Right, so, what am I going to tell you? Less reading. Okay? Show us your passion. Show us your examples. We love the visual cues, by the way. Candle over here, bit of ripping up paper. You can really have fun with that, Vincent. Yeah? None of this sort of get around, on the floor, stand around, move around. Yes? Energy in here. This group here, you had some outstanding things on your paper. Okay? Live them, breathe them. One of the things my fellow judge said, less words, more passion. Alright, so for all of you, less words. How many people ran out of time? Didn't get to my big finish. Yeah. Oh, David's banged me out. He does that, you see. He's a brilliant timekeeper. And he was trying to get, I could see him going, 5 more seconds. Okay? Really be clear about your time. Okay? Right. So, as you can imagine, we had a bit of a challenge. We really did have a bit of a challenge. So how are we going to do this? We're going to bring it down front.
I would think so. Who you want to do first? That's in your heavy of the jury.
See,
Are we going to do best debater first or the winning
we do
team?
best debater.
Best
Okay.
debater first.
So there was quite a lot of debate.
Lots of debate.
That was supposed to be a joke, everybody. You see, I ate the joke because I had my head down. Had I got, there was a lot of debate, then you all would have laughed. See the difference? Right. Okay, so a lot of debate because there's lots of good stuff on both sides. Right. By a narrow margin, the best debater was Andrea. Well done. That's it. Stop. That's it. Just so he's got it there. Great. Anybody going to take a photograph? Great. Other people just getting their phones ready. Look at that. Good.
Little patience, Andrea.
Okay, look. Double phones over there. Far too technically gifted. That's marvellous. Right. Yeah, you can go back and sit down because I need to build this up. So a really good debate, both of you. Recognise the words and the support I've given you in terms of some of the suggestions for the future, because I know you'll continue to grow. Okay, difficult for us, we were going back and forward a little bit. The winning team of today is the Academy. Please, you guys need to hold, I'm less important, you need to hold the certificate, good stuff.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much. Well done, guys. More photos. Oh, you've only got one phone this time. Very good. Excellent. All done, everybody. Thanks very much.
Congratulations to the winners. Yes, you were great as well. You know, taking all, I'm sure you've taken everything that Paul said on board. There's another debate coming up for both teams. Thank you very much for everybody for coming here, but a huge thanks to our timekeeper who's first time doing the job, and I thought he did a wonderful job. Thank you, the scholar. Thank you so very much for the hospitality. Thank you. Sam's done a wonderful job. She's looked after us really, really well. Thank you very much, and of course Alberto for Agora. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.